this? I'm sure most of y'all are out there protesting right now. Protesting or looking around or doing whatever y'all need to do. I just wanted to get on here for a little while. Y'all know I don't like being on live and making extremely long videos, but just wanted to check in with everybody. I know last time y'all read a long post from me. It was letting everybody know that I had tested positive for COVID-19. So I will, be talking about that amongst a couple other things that I, see what's going on. So, yeah, I tested positive for COVID-19 on May 9th. And after that, of course, you have to wait your 14 days to be tested again. So my experience with, hey, Jazzy, how are you? My experience with it was crazy because I also got tested on the 15th of April, which was less than a month before I tested positive. I tested on the 15th of April because I was exposed to it. And that test came back negative. Hey, Michael, how are you? That test came back negative on April 15th. And then I went back to work, and not even 2 weeks later, I started having symptoms. It was like a Wednesday or a Thursday that I started having symptoms. First, I lost my sense of taste and smell. Just woke up one morning and couldn't smell or taste anything. And, I was like, okay, well, maybe that's allergies. I have really bad allergies living down here in Georgia. So I, didn't really pay it any attention. But knowing your body, because you definitely know your body, that it wasn't right. Like something wasn't right. I knew something wasn't right. That was on like Wednesday or Thursday. By Friday, I knew for sure that it wasn't allergies. That was May 8th that I was like, nah, something is truly wrong. So I got up the morning of May 8th before I went to work, and I called and scheduled a test with the health department to find a location close to me. Because I definitely, when I got tested on the last month, I went through the doctor that I know and stuff like that. So I found a place close to me, and I immediately got tested. So of course I called work and was like, I'm not coming to work. I am going to get tested for COVID because I'm having these symptoms. And I got tested in the morning of May 9th when I got up before, hey, ML Anthony, the morning of May 9th, when I went and got tested, is when my symptoms kicked in. And when my symptoms kicked in, like the body aches, it started that day. Like I started having headaches and body aches and things like that. But I still went ahead and got tested. Of course, I drove myself to get tested on May 9th. And then that day, of course, I came home because I was like, something's not right. I just need to rest. I just need to chill. And so I came home and, was laying across the couch. And I like to take care of myself. Like I made a video at the beginning of this pandemic when, things were starting to get serious and people were starting to get crazy. And I told everybody to prepare, don't panic so much, prepare. And, that's basically what I usually do when I'm working out and trying to eat my smoothies and trying to have my fruits and vegetables and my salads and things like that. That's, preparing myself. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm doing better as well, physically definitely doing better. But I was preparing, and in preparation, I know that, this is an immune attacking virus. So I prepared my immune system for a fight, and that's why when I made the video at the beginning of the pandemic, I said, prepare yourself for things that are going on so that if it happens to you, you are not unprepared or you won't have to go through the symptoms. So, I've talked to people and I've heard about people going through this thing for weeks at a time, like being in pain for 2 weeks straight, and having symptoms and, being in the hospital and things like that. And I'm like, I'm hoping that I don't have to go through all of that. So, yeah, at the beginning of everything, yes, Matthew, I'm always preparing. I pay attention to what's going on and I'm always preparing. So May 9th, I came home and that's when the symptoms kicked in. Like I literally was in pain from the top of my head, like the little bit of hair that I keep or allow. Hey, Gigi, how are you? The little bit of hair I allow on my head, it almost felt like the hair was standing up on top of my head. And it, I was in pain. So being in pain, and it went from the top of my head all the way to like the bottom of my feet. So I was just like in pain, Oh, Mom, what did I say? So nice to see you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing better. Like I was in pain, like literally like my entire body was uncomfortable. Like nothing I did was allowing me to be comfortable. I went from the bed to the couch to the floor to everywhere and everything was uncomfortable. So, the pain was there and it lasted for about 4 days for me. And on like the end of the second day, the migraines kicked in and they always say, take Tylenol because Tylenol is what usually helps, but Tylenol was definitely not helping me with the migraines. So the pain was there, the migraines was there, the night sweat started. I was having chills all day long, so I would be extremely hot one minute and then I would be extremely cold the next minute. And then it kicked in and I was weak, like I could barely stand for 30 seconds to 45 seconds. So I was, trying to relax around the house. So with me relaxing around the house, I was just here trying to stay hydrated, if nothing else, because of course I lost my appetite. So if nothing else, I was trying to stay hydrated. So I had Gatorade, I had water, I had things like that at the house, because even if I wasn't eating, like I remember peeling an orange and only being able to eat half of the orange. And all of those things kind of were persistent and they were not letting up. Nothing was helping. Nothing was allowing me to stand up. Like even when I took a shower, I would get up out of the bed, I would go take a shower and I literally would have to stand for 30 seconds, wash my body, sit on the ledge of the tub for a minute, catch my breath, then stand back up and wash a little more. And it lasted for about 4 days for me. So I was kind of one of the lucky people because all the preparation that I did prior to it, the eating right, the staying hydrated, the working out, it prepared my immune system for the fight. So with me preparing my immune system, it only allowed me to have to go through it for maybe 4.5 days. Of course I had stuff everywhere, dishes everywhere, clothes everywhere. I was too weak to do anything. So, yeah, about the 5th day, I started feeling better and I knew that I was starting to feel better because I was able to stand in front of the sink and put all the dishes in the dishwasher. So I was like, okay, I'm able to stand here. I'm able to do things. And slowly my appetite started coming back and my endurance started coming back. So I was able to stand longer. I was able to, move around, do more things. But, it is what it is. I kind of just let my body go through the course that it was going to go through. Of course, I stayed in contact with the people who who I needed to be in contact with. My mom, my sisters, my dad, people who I needed to be in contact with so that they knew what was going on the entire time, because it's important to have that support even when you are away from them. Even when you are away from people, you should still have some kind of support system so that if anything does happen, you have somebody who has your back. Now, let's fast forward. As y'all can see, I'm doing physically better. And I retested on last Tuesday, which was May 26th. And I tested for the regular COVID, and I also tested for the antibodies. And the antibody test is, they drew the blood to make sure that you have developed the antibodies to be able to be immune to this strand of coronavirus. And then they also did the nose swab. Everything that you see about the nose swab is the exact same thing. Like, they stick the nose swab. They stick it all the way down in the back of my nostrils on both sides, which was uncomfortable. It's definitely uncomfortable. It's more irritating than it is uncomfortable, because it's almost like something is stuck and then they have to twist it, of course. So like I said, I tested on Tuesday, the 26th, this past Tuesday. Got my test results back on Thursday. And the antibodies are there for me to be immune to this particular strand of coronavirus, but I still tested positive. So I still have coronavirus in my system, but I also have the antibodies to be immune to it once it's out. So I see everybody protesting and things like that, and I'm like, oh, I would love to go out and support, but it would be extremely selfish of me knowing that I have coronavirus, even though I support Black Lives Matter and I stand with people who are, positively protesting, because I see some things that are uncalled for. Like, at this point, it's become kind of stupid, some of the stuff that people are doing. Yes, it's good that it's being recorded that it's not the Black people a lot of the times, but then there are some people out there doing some stupid stuff. So, with all of that being said, like, I know that I have coronavirus, so I definitely didn't want to put anybody else at risk. And even with me thinking about that, it kind of brings me to other people, who are kind of out there when you do watch these videos and you see people who are out there with no gloves on and no mask on and just walking around, and there's no social distancing and they're touching each other. And I understand what's going on, but the pandemic of coronavirus is still extremely relevant, y'all. So while I understand what's going on and you are angry at things, but I need y'all to be aware that while y'all are protesting for this, man's life who lost his life, George Floyd, you are still here living. And with the protests going on and the pandemic of coronavirus, it's almost like it's a catch-22, because you're angry, you want to support, you want to be there, but you also have to be safe and aware and smart, about your own life, because you're still here. So if you get coronavirus and you are one of the ones who kind of lose that battle, you won't be here to protest and show your support and empathy to George Floyd's family. So we got to think about those things, when you're out there amongst each other and, stuff like that. I've still been quarantining myself and trying to stay away from people. So, at this point, of course, I'm sure you all see me working out and things like that, because my endurance is back. And yes, I'm like 95% better. So when I went and got tested on Tuesday, I was just sure that I was going to test negative and be back to work, because everybody who knows me personally knows that my work ethic is extremely strong. And I, enjoy being able to do something. So, being smart about things, being aware of things, because I think that's the biggest part of everything. Awareness is everything. So paying attention to where you are, who you're around, even during the pandemic and the protesting, you have to be aware of, who you're around, what you're doing, what you're actually involved in, because a lot of it is guilty by association. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know exactly where this coronavirus came from for me, but I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I don't know about the pandemic, about the protesting and things like that, about people who are doing things and throwing things and breaking windows, but because you're there, you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. So think about those things when you are looking at yourself, when you're looking at your surroundings. You have to be aware of yourself, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of what you are associated with, even if you are not the ones who are doing it, because you're there, you're guilty by association. So, we see peaceful protests, and then I scroll up a little bit and I see violent protests, and it's all in the same area, and people are not thinking, they're not going through the crowd and say, oh, this person is peaceful, this person is violent. They thinking that everybody's violent. So I know I kind of shifted from my story to the protests, but it's all kind of going on at the same time, because it's almost like the pandemic of coronavirus has completely disappeared from people's knowledge and awareness. It's almost like, last week or 2 weeks ago, people were in the house and I saw more masks, but now it's like, Corona who? COVID what? It's still out there, y'all. So, what does that? Be prepared if you're on medication, because if you're arrested, they won't give you your medications if you go to jail. Because, at this point, they're really not caring about who's doing what. You're guilty by association. Even if you are not personally doing these things, you're guilty by association. So, at this point, I am in support of Black Lives Matter and the peaceful protest and the support of George Floyd's family. I just watched a video from George Floyd's brother, and he kind of said the same thing. Don't lose sight of what you're trying to do by being affected by something that you are angry and you just want to do at this point in time, because everything is based off of emotions, and everybody's emotions are extremely high, and anger is like step number 2 on the grieving process. So everybody is grieving right now this man's life and death at this point, but you're stuck in anger. Let's get out of that anger. Let's become a little smarter. Excuse me. Let's think about what we're doing, the consequences of these things. Like, even if this stuff is going on right now, you got to think about how it's going to affect you 5 years from now. You never know what you're going to do or who you're going to become or who you're going to cross paths with. So you got to think about those things right now. And if you're not thinking about those things right now, then you're basically setting a path for yourself for the rest of your life. Guilty by association. So, just be smart, be safe, be aware. This is your life. This is your time. This is your legacy. We all have our own legacy to leave. And do you want your legacy to be a picture of you throwing a brick in a window? They're setting up bricks for people to throw. Just be smart. Just be smart. That's all I wanted to say. That's why I wore my Let's Heal shirt, because at this point in time, the United States, the world needs to heal. It needs some kind of healing. It needs more positivity. It needs more empathy. Because right now I see a lot of people who are screaming for sympathy. And I don't want people to feel sorry for me or to feel sorry for people. I want you to empathize. I need you to understand what's going on. And once you empathize and understand what's going on, hopefully your process and your thought processes will change. Because it's like, I've been there, I've done that. I watched the video, and I'm sure most of you have seen the video of the guy who's trying to calm the older guy down. He brings in the younger generation. He's like, do it a different way, because, he's right. At this point, we need to understand each other's emotions. We need to understand what's going on right now. We got 2 extremely important things going on that can change the face of humanity. Like, we are over 100,000 deaths in the United States alone with this pandemic. And now we're here protesting. So now we got the pandemic who's killing people, and now we got people out there who are protesting and could potentially be in the line of being killed too. That's the reality of it all. Yeah, you want it to be a peaceful protest, and when you go out there, you want to be able to come home to your family, but do you know for sure that you will? Think about that. So, you know, I ain't want to say too much. Just wanted to spread my positivity. I know, I'm in complete support of the protests, getting the message out there. But what I'm not in support of is the violence and stupidity, because that's what they expect from us Black people. They expect us to be violent. They expect us to be loud. They expect us to be obnoxious. So let's prove them wrong by doing something different. Hey, Lorenzo, what's going on? So, as far as me, like I said, I'm doing 95% better. Yes, I still got the coronavirus in my system, which means that I have to sit in the house for another 10 to 14 days. It sucks, but it gives me time to work out. It gives me time to work on other things. It gives me time to continue to spread my positivity and my smile and everything else that people have kind of looked forward to seeing on my social media. It gives me an opportunity to get in touch with people who I don't get to talk to and who I don't get to spend Zoom time with or FaceTime or something like that. So, if y'all have any questions or if y'all want to reach out and just see me or talk to me, do so. I'm here. I got 10 to 14 more days before I test again, and I'm keeping a positive spirit and positive energy that the next time that I go get tested, that it will be negative, so that I can get back to my normal life, because I've created, hey Corey, yeah, I'm good. I mean, I feel much better. Trust me, it's nowhere near what it was before. So I definitely feel better. I'm just here spreading a message and letting people know how real this stuff is, because a lot of people think that, what's going on doesn't affect them until it comes and sits on their couch, so to speak, or until it shows up in their own yard. And I'm here. I'm here to tell you that it's real, y'all. And it definitely comes out of nowhere, because it came out of nowhere for me. So I hope that helps somebody. Y'all please like, share, comment, add your 2 cents, because I invite other people's opinion on most of the things. People have things that they gonna say that they don't, I'm saying things that people don't agree with. I'm saying things that people do agree with. But if this message helped one person, I did what I was supposed to do. So that's all I got to say, y'all. I'm about to get back to watching my movies and chilling out. I don't know what prompted me to do this, but whenever I get a feeling, I just have to do what I got to do. Other than that, I hope everybody is doing well and keep doing well. Remember, let's heal. We got to heal the world. We got to smile at each other. We got to be open to each other. You don't go out touching folks, because I know definitely once I get back to work in my normal life, my distance between people, I was already a distant person to a lot of people anyway, it's going to be even bigger, because I was prepared, but I wasn't. I didn't want to wake up and say, oh, I got coronavirus. But here I am. And there you are. So until next time, y'all. See y'all later. Hey, Tao, how are you? Bye, y'all.